Right now, let's look at your 10 weather impact, and as they're preparing for storm surge and potential flooding, that leads us to our trivia question today, Dylan.
Yeah, and this actually gets into all the heavy rain that we're tracking down there. Today's question actually has to do with flooding, so we're going to ask that right now. So what is a 100-year flood? So A, happens every 100 years. B, has a 1% chance of happening on any given year. C, has a 0.1% chance of occurring in a year, or D, seldom ever happens.
I feel like this is a trick question.
Me too.
Do I go with the obvious? It happens every 100, because I feel like we talk about this a lot. You know, there's heavy flooding, and there was always this only happens
That's why
every 100 years, but it's
then we
happened.
do the stories on insurance and all.
Yeah, right.
Let's go with B.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you guys are right. So
See,
yeah.
that's out loud thinking right
So,
there.
It is.
Yeah.
So a 100-year flood, by definition, means that there's a 1% chance that could happen on any year. I mean, you could have 5 100-year floods 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth.
And then you could go 1,000 years without anything.
Okay.
And so as you go down the list, so there's a 0.2% chance of a 500-year flood, and there's a 0.1% chance of a 1,000-year flood. But that's simply all that means is a 100-year flood just means that there's that flood of that caliber has a 1% chance of happening on any given year. So there you have it. All right, right now we are tracking some showers down to the south. You head north of 70. We're actually looking pretty dry, but tracking some downpours down to our south, mostly light rain, but there are a few embedded heavier showers right now moving into Laurelville and Lancaster. So we are going to be tracking these out here this morning. Meanwhile, we have a frontal boundary that's basically stalled out across the area. And so this is going to be the breeding ground for where showers could possibly form today. If you are east of this boundary, this cold front right here, you have a pretty good shot at getting rain today. If you are west of this cold front, you stay pretty much dry as we head throughout the day. I think that more of you than not get a quick shower today, but this is not going to be any kind of washout or anything like that as we head throughout the day. Here's 10:30. Here's lunchtime again. Showers kind of streaming in across the area. Keep the umbrella with you. Probably not a bad idea. And then as we head towards the middle to later afternoon, again, maybe a few more isolated pop-up showers here and there. Today, though, we don't have the severe threat. That's the difference between yesterday and today. Okay, here is Tropical Storm Helene right now. Winds at 65 miles per hour. She is moving northwest at 9 miles per hour. And these waters of the Gulf of Mexico, they are like bathtub. It's very shallow, very warm. And so we are expecting her to get into the Gulf of Mexico and really blossom and become more organized as the waters are very warm. Still expected to make landfall Thursday as a Cat 3. Winds around 120 miles per hour, then crisscrossing into Georgia, heavy rainfall for Atlanta before eventually turning on a dime and moving west of the area. Here's a look at the center of circulation right there. Take a look at all that wind, all that rain as it crosses into Florida, eventually into the Tennessee River Valley. And then after that, the Ohio River Valley going into Friday and Saturday. You'll see right here, we have that axis of heavy rainfall beginning to move into the area. And then you'll notice that as we head through the rest of the week, we get a lot of wind associated with this as well. I do want to talk a little bit about the wind because I think even more so than the rain, the wind will impact you here on Friday. So let's talk about that right here. Lunchtime on Friday here, and look at this right here. You head further to the east, the winds are not bad, but you head south, you head west, man, we're looking at winds 30, 35 miles per hour, maybe even crossing into 40 miles per hour plus going into Friday. So just right now, have a plan in place. Just plan on Friday being a very windy day. Meanwhile, through the weekend, just some leftover lingering showers, not too bad. As we head towards next week, though, we do continue to be looking at all that green showing up on the map. So much needed beneficial rainfall continues as we head into the start of next week. Temperatures, though, cooling off a little bit, low 80s. Eventually 70s, which looks very delightful as we have a refreshing change up to the air mass coming by next week.